Is Holler a Mexican last name?
No, but the actor. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the WTH podcast. Hi, my name is Nate. You see Jason and Kareem before you. We're doing something a little bit different. We have a 360-degree camera, and this is what it looks like on our streaming service. So I'm on the top, and you guys are on the bottom because it looked awkward the other way.
Yeah.
So here we go. You can only see Jason's legs this week because he chooses to show them.
Oh, yeah,
That's
baby.
what it is. You're looking svelte.
Am I?
You are. You look great.
Oh, thanks. COVID did that to me.
COVID did that.
I went from 100. I don't know the pounds because I haven't done the trend. Like they always use kilos now at UC Davis. So I know I weighed 96 kilos, and I used to weigh like 105 kilos. You know, prior, like 2 weeks prior to, or
so 9 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So almost yeah. I thought I would have put it all on, but like since the last time I was there, because I'd lost the same amount, like I thought I would gain it all back by now.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Well, there you go. Congratulations, I guess.
So I don't know. You might need to take what Nate's doing, all this walking with the kids every day.
Well, it's not that much. It's about a half hour.
Yeah.
And speed goes down because the girl wants to walk now, and she's 3.
Yeah.
So she wants to stop and pick up sticks and stones. And
Oh my
you
god.
got to make sure she doesn't run out into the street. All of those things. Those all have to happen. So,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Walking with 3-year-olds is a journey in itself.
It is. It is.
It's like walking with a dog.
I told her the next time she stopped, she was going back in the wagon. And that's what happened.
And she was okay with it.
Yeah, there was no fit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There
Good
was
for you,
no fit.
Nate.
Well, here's the thing. She does very well if we let her know that there's going to be consequences if she does something. And then there are consequences because she already knew that. Now,
Right.
sometimes that's not the case. But we're working on that, too.
No, and that's just, yeah. I mean, 4 out of 5 times with CJ, we let her know what the consequences are, and it's fine. Alma, though.
Alma is only 2 months younger than Sam.
Yeah, so she does.
CJ is 2 years older than Sam.
Yeah, she's. So it's like it gets better, but I mean, like it's definitely better with CJ at this point. Like,
I'd hope so.
well, yeah, I know, but it's just like how you don't know until you know. You know, and I see my cousin's, I see other people's kids, and I'm like, it doesn't seem like it gets any better. Sometimes.
I like to think that that's on the parents.
Wow, yeah.
I like to think that. Is that actually true? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I watched this video yesterday. It was yesterday when I watched it, but I've seen it again this morning. It's making its round, and there's this girl who looks like she was a teenager who was talking about how much her parents screwed her up. And I was listening to the stuff that she was saying, and I was like, did they really not love you or treat you with love? Or is it that you wanted them to love you a certain kind of way that really isn't love, and you just acted out because they told you no?
Yeah, hearing no is a big one.
yeah.
But again, unless you turn out to be the 45th president of the United States, I mean, you get used to it and you move on from there. We'll get to all of that.
Yeah, it was one of those conversations that you have as a teenager because you think that because your parents are still giving you boundaries and whatnot, and that you get to be 30 and then you realize that what they did actually worked.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, you just like realize that they're fuck ups.
In some cases, but a lot of times it wasn't they were fuck ups. It was that you was the fuck up.
Yeah.
you were the fuck up, and what I think she said. You go to a man because they make you think that they love you, so you end up having sex with them. And it ends up being because they said no. Or you can't go do certain things, so you want to go do them anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope I don't have to deal with that shit.
I hope you don't either.
Yeah, that would be bad times.
Yes, but it
Very
was
bad times.
I said it was one of those conversations like,
Yeah.
oh, you say this at 18, but when you get to be in your 30s, you'd be like, oh, damn, they were right.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom usually that comes in that
Yeah.
gap. Not always.
You know,
Not always.
and then the people in the comments were like, oh, you know, like, oh, she's speaking truth to power, and like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, you all felt like that when you were going through that at that age,
Right.
like, so I understand why you say that, but how many of you now are saying when my parents did or told me that they were right?
Yeah. Growing up in a very backwards place, it's a very different sort of feeling about stuff. Not that what they said wasn't right, but my parents lacked a lot of the worldliness, I guess would be the best way of putting it, that a lot of adults had because they didn't travel.
Yeah,
They didn't go places. They didn't, neither of them went away to college. My mom went on a couple of high school field trips. Her big takeaway from going to New York, Montreal, and Washington, D.C. was that she hated cities. That was her takeaway. Preached it constantly. My dad was in the National Guard. He went to lovely Fort Dix, New Jersey. He also hated cities, including New York, because he had to take a train
and he got lost
from middle of nowhere, Vermont, to New Jersey. He did not get lost, but it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
And what neither of them liked was the lack of control that being on quote unquote public transportation gives you.
yes,
Which I completely understand. You go on their schedule. If you miss it, it also didn't help that the nuns traumatized my mom by saying things like, well, you get to go out in pairs. Make sure you're back here because if you're not, the bus will leave without you and your parents will be called and they'll have to come and get you. Keep in mind at the time, my grandparents were older because my mom was the youngest of 9. And it would today take you 6.5, 7 hours to drive from where they lived to New York City.
ooh,
Back in the day, in the old farm pickup, I mean, not quite Beverly Hillbillies style pickup, but old farm pickup, it would have taken them 12 hours easily.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a 17-year-old, 16, 17-year-old who'd never been off the farm to speak of. And you drop them in the middle of New York and say, by the way, if you're not back, we're leaving without you, and then we're going to call your parents to come get you. Now, I know it was a scare tactic
yeah,
to try and get people, but this, all the way through her adulthood, she relayed that story, and you could see the fear in her eyes. They traumatized those kids on purpose.
yes.
Because that's what religion does. All right, I want to talk about this real quick. I'm going first, which is odd.
Okay.
But this marks the completion of 11 years of this podcast. This podcast started in we recorded in late June, dropped the first episode in early July of 2011. It is now 11 years later. 874 episodes later. I'm still here.
They're still here.
Everybody else is gone. But I just want to commemorate that briefly. Thank you, Facebook, for reminding me. And I want to say thank you to both of you guys for making this possible, making it fun, making it a delight to come in, and just sticking with the project just because. It's awesome. It's appreciated. And I love you guys. So thank you. Jason, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, well, first, I mean, not having improv and then not having this, I probably would have, I don't want to say kill myself, but I would have been in a bad spot. This is
got
one
two
of those
small children at home, though.
No. But like this is one of the few places that I had, especially now that I can get out of the house, away from the family, or like not to have to think about the family generally. So thank you guys, and I love you guys.
Well, I love the 360 cam because we can sit around just a table like in my front yard.
Yeah.
And do this show and be able to. I kind of dig this. I mean, we wouldn't have the monitor in my front yard.
Yeah, that would be kind of.
I mean, I could.
You could.
I could.
You could.
Not gonna.
Okay.
Okay. find it.
I don't have a place to store it other than the garage, and it's 180 degrees in the garage.
What you could do is you get one of those inflatable screens, get a projector, and project it behind us.
Oh my goodness, all of the bugs. I'm just thinking all of the bugs that would go with that.
Oh, they're the worst too. Like when you get on like the other side of the river for some reason, when you get towards like anywhere, like it's just like one of the things I hated about living in Woodland were the fucking bugs. Like,
Well, you're right next to the wetland there.
yeah, but there was fucking nut. Like I saw a fucking moth that was the size of a fucking dinner plate. Like it was fucking huge. Like, and I've seen it. Like my grandfather collected moth. Like I'd seen them before, but I was like, to see it in fucking life, like in real life, like flying up against the window of the fucking Blockbuster in town. Hollywood Video. Yeah.
He was coming back to get you. Oh my God!
Seriously, Mothra, baby. What would I like to talk about? I've been playing this game that everybody has been playing called Elden Ring.
I've heard of it. I heard it takes a kabillion hours before it's even remotely enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a fucking tough game, and the thing that's funny about it is like that scared me off. Like when it first came out, I heard about it. I'd heard about the other games that this company had made before, and they're all known as very difficult games and games that have like boss fights that are very difficult, and like you're fighting things that are like the size of a skyscraper almost, and they can kill you in 1 or 2 hits, even if you're very powerful. So I don't like playing games that are that difficult. I mean, I like to have fun when I play games.
Right.
But anyhow, so like there hasn't been really a lot of games released recently. Like it's kind of like a dry spell. And I decided I would so I decided to buy it. And I started playing it a little bit, and it wasn't as hard as it's been made out to be necessarily. It is difficult and
time consuming.
And somewhat time consuming. It's of an addiction and thrill rush, because the thing is like things have stakes in this. Like when you play Skyrim or like some of the other role playing games like that, when you die, you don't lose really anything. You just come back to your last save point. It's not that big of a deal. In this game, when you die, there's only one type of like currency in the game for levels, for buying armor, for upgrading armor, all that, aside from things you need to find in the environment. And that's runes. And when you die, those runes aren't lost forever, but you have one chance to go pick them up where you drop them, or you lose them. I've probably lost at least 70,000 runes, which is probably at least 6 or 7 levels, which is probably a couple hours. A couple of times.
You feel like you were playing back when you played when you was 12 and you had to leave the machine on.
Almost in a way, like because like you need to know that you had time to commit if you go into a hard fight. And then there's also parts where you need to jump to areas, and the jumping is kind of difficult in it because they do it all on purpose. They could make it all a lot easier, but they need to make it difficult. I mean, that's the people that they're going for. They're going for a certain type of game. These games are made for a certain type. This isn't made for a casual player.
Not made for me.
Yeah, and probably not made for like anybody that's not like. I'm not even into this type of game necessarily. But what's really cool about it, and the good thing about it, is that it's so open and it's so vast and it's so loose as far as story is concerned. And you can find things so randomly and happen upon stuff so randomly, kind of. That discovery feeling is awesome, but then also when you get to these fights and you get in these fights with things, like I fought a fucking dragon yesterday. All right, I did not know that where I was going was there's gonna be a dragon there because it's near where you start the game. And I never really gone to that area. I went over to that area, and all of a sudden a fucking dragon drops down on me and starts fucking like blowing fire, and the fire kills you in one hit. And I had like 10,000 runes at the time, so I was like, fuck. So I went and picked him up, but then I was like, you know what? I have like 45 minutes. I'm just going to try to beat it. And I beat it. It took me like 6 or 7 tries. But because I have a Series X and it has a solid state drive, like the shit like loads very quickly. There's like almost no load time. So that's awesome. If this was back in like any time before this and it took like 3 minutes, like this would fucking suck. As like I wouldn't have been able to deal with it for sure. Then I beat it, and I beat it barely. Like I had like a little bit of health left. I had no magic potions left. I got a lucky hit, and the dragon died, and like this whole new part of the game opened up to me that I wasn't necessarily aware of, where you can get dragon powers. I did not know that happened in the game. Anyhow, I took a risk and it paid off. I mean, I'm tired now because I need to make sure I don't play it sometimes, because I played it till 3 a.m. one morning. Like, yeah, I was like on Friday morning. I played until 3 a.m. I was like, fuck, dude. I can't do this. I'm not a 30-year-old, 25-year-old man anymore. I'm a 45-year-old man with kids.
With kids that are gonna wake up.
Yes.
At 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And need me to make them breakfast. Anyhow, so it's just like taking a risk on something, like have you guys done that recently? Something that other people maybe had, like, you maybe were discouraged from doing or didn't want to do, and then you did do, and it ended up being kind of awesome and somewhat rewarding?
I mean, I don't know if I've done anything rewarding. Yeah, I don't know. Everything, as you know, when you have 2 small children and a business that you're trying to run and a marriage that you're trying to keep together, there's a lot of balls in the air. And no. I haven't.
How about this? I should change the question, because
Right.
on the whole, I get it, because I feel the fucking same way.
Right?
But entertainment wise, let's say, like, just entertainment wise, is there something that people had warned you off of or said that maybe you wouldn't like, or maybe it was a little too deep or something, and you didn't want, like, you held off on watching it, but then some reason you did watch it, and then you're like, oh, I really like this. I wish I would have not, like.
Love After Lockup. It's not deeper. It's the other way. But my wife and I have been watching it. My mother-in-law has watched all of them ahead of time. We have been watching it on Amazon. And here's the problem on Amazon Prime. Some of the seasons are included and some you have to pay for. Yeah. But we are so invested in these different idiots.
Oh, no.
That we have bought.
Oh, no.
Multiple seasons. There is a new season coming up too.
What channel?
His porn.
Oh, man. What channel? What channel is it on?
It is on WeTV.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
So there's a new season of Love After Lockup coming up. There was this one dude who is he's on to his second one. I don't want to spoil it for you, but he was engaged to a chick from God, I'm gonna forget I forgot the name of the county.
Washoe.
No. He lived in Vegas. She was she was near Reading.
Oh.
And he went to a bail bondsman in Sacramento and put up $50,000 bond that in the entirety of their relationship, he kept being worried that she wasn't going to show up for court. Even though she moved to Vegas and moved in with him, he was always talking about, well, I'm going to be out $50,000 more if she doesn't show up for a court date. I'm going to be up $50,000 more if she doesn't show up for a court date. It's delightful. He proposed on the West Sacramento Riverwalk. Okay. With a bunch of geese in the background. And I found that endearing because I live in West Sacramento and I proposed in Las Vegas in front of the Bellagio fountains. And he's from Las Vegas and proposed in West Sacramento in front of some geese.
You guys should hang out.
Well, that's hard now because he has moved on to a different inmate who is out. And
so he was out 50,000. Did he?
No. He managed to not be out 50,000.
Okay.
What the other stuff he spent on her, that's all gone. But the amount of money people spend on people in prison is crazy.
Oh, I believe it.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, he is now with this this lady who was locked up in Ohio, and he got her knocked up.
What?
Oh, yeah. He got her knocked up. She already has one kid. Are you ready? Has 6 kids in Vegas with one woman who he never married.
Damn.
Never proposed to. I'm telling you, this show is crazy.
Sounds
It is absolutely batshit crazy. It's what you put on when you're like, I don't know. If you want something funny, Welcome to Flatch on Fox is really good. Rutherford Falls on Peacock is another one that's really good.
You know, it's funny. I've been thinking about a lot of the shows that I've really been enjoying this year, and like almost all of them are very diverse casts. Like
That's all they're doing now.
no,
Jason.
but I mean, like you might think that, but at the same time, I mean, you could still watch certain. Like I don't know, like.
Well, watch Welcome to Flatch. It's not diverse. It is not.
But because like there's Rutherford Falls, which is great, and it's such a feel good show. Like it's similar in that sense of like Ted Lasso, of like it just feels.
I don't know that it's a feel good show.
There's nothing in that show that ever happens that's really that bad to anybody.
Really?
Are you in the second season?
Yeah. Really, nothing bad happens other than this is going to be a huge spoiler. So if you haven't watched,
Fast forward like a minute.
Fast forward for like a minute. You mean to tell me finding out that you are not, in fact, a Rutherford when that's been your entire identity, that you are the bastard love child, and then you lose your house to your arch nemesis who turns it into something else while you go on a cross-country quest to find out who you are, only to come back and live in the attic? That's not bad?
I think that this season, because I get what you're saying with all of that, but with this season, it was I never watched an episode and like did not have a smile on my face or was not happy with the show. You know, I mean,
It's a good show.
It's a to me it's a feel good show.
Sure.
It doesn't make me ever.
Well, Love After Lockup is a feel-good show for me because I feel good that I'm smart enough to not do that.
Reservation Dogs. If you haven't seen that, that's a really, really, really funny show. It's really great. And then the school one, Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
What's that?
I've watched a couple of those.
I mean, for sitcom, it's a really, really great sitcom. Which I usually don't watch, like sitcoms that are on, mainstream television.
All right, moving on. Kareem, what do you want to talk about?
I didn't know. I didn't even think about it, but I will. I do have something. So, the beginning of the month, I had a colonoscopy.
Right.
Colonoscopy went well, but they did find a polyp.
Oh.
And you get 10 business days to find out what the deal is with that polyp.
Right.
And so, you start thinking about things. Or
What did they do? What did they find?
what did they do? What did they find?
I know my first one they found, I think 3,
Yeah.
2 or 3.
When Kevin said they found 3 and one of his was precancerous.
Yeah, mine were all benign.
Yeah.
They found the Ark of the
Yeah.
Covenant in mine.
Yeah. So the 2 were benign and one was precancerous, which, with me
For Kevin.
for Kevin. So with me sitting with that for the 10 days, you start to think about things, you start to question, or not even question, but like, okay, well, what the fuck would I do?
Right.
But so just in that vein, and it came back and it was benign. But at this point, I could say I'm in a place kind of of gratitude. So thank you, Nate, for having me on the show for as long as you have. I do appreciate and love you guys. And we've become way better friends than I ever thought we would be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we've changed each other for the better
I agree. Absolutely.
in that process.
The different perspectives,
Yeah.
the disagreements that we've had, all leading back to a place of better understanding, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's been a big thing. All right. So let's talk January 6th.
Big
real
thing
quick.
like my dick.
So earlier today,
Mushrooms.
as we are live on Tuesday, they had a special January 6th committee hearing.
Mm-hmm.
It was unexpected. They were supposed to be away until July, which, by the way, is this weekend. So July, it's not like that. It's a huge break, but got notice on Monday that, oh, hey, going to be back on Tuesday. And the witness was a young lady who was one of Mark Meadows' aides.
Yes.
And here are some of the things we found out today. Trump knew that the people that were at his speech or near his speech were armed, but they were, quote, not there to hurt him. So he encouraged them to take down the magnetometers, because the people who were armed weren't coming down to the speech. They were staying further away because they didn't want to go through them. He's like, they're not here to hurt me. Take those down. Let everybody down. Trump wanted to go to the Capitol, which he had said he was going to walk to the Capitol. No. But he did want to go to the Capitol. He allegedly even grabbed the wheel of the limo when they told him they weren't and tried to choke the Secret Service agent.
Since then, since we've been sitting here, there's a report that says that one of the Secret Service agents or two people would testify that that didn't happen.
Nope, that came out before. And by the way, you can say that until I see them sitting there.
Look, and,
I am believing it.
I know, and I'm only saying it because it's what.
Sure.
What,
no.
What I read.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that beforehand too. I saw Peter Alexander saying unnamed sources close to. By the way, Peter Alexander, unless you work for TMZ, don't bring bullshit that contradicts what a sworn witness said before Congress, unless you're willing to say who the fuck they are.
And
Pete.
And both of those people have already testified before the committee.
Right? So we know their story.
Yeah.
Now, maybe this wasn't delved into at all, but
They reserve at the end of each one of those things. They say we reserve to call you back if needed.
Right.
Right. I would love to hear. Now, this was not something that she was firsthand witness to. It was something she was told.
Yeah.
And those things were made clear. The difference between things she was told and things that she heard. For instance, she missed the actual Trump throwing his lunch at the wall, breaking a plate, and leaving ketchup streaming down the wall, but walked into the dining room just after it happened.
And saw the ketchup
Dripping down the wall and helped clear it out. And the valet that was in the room said, you're probably going to want to stay clear of him. He's in a really bad mood. She also said that it was not uncommon for him to throw food, throw dishes, yank tablecloths off of tables so that everything on the table flew onto the floor. This is not normal behavior for a grown adult.
Not for somebody that's the president of the United States of
It
America.
is not normal behavior for someone who's president of Phi Kalpa Alpha. It's not normal. It's not okay to have somebody.
It's not normal for a 7-year-old,
right?
Look, it's not normal for a 7-year-old.
And then for those two Secret Servicemen or whoever to try to say that it didn't happen. No, I don't think anybody that heard what they said he didn't believe that he actually did it.
They're not inconsistent with his behavior patterns.
No.
Is exactly the problem. That you can't sit there and go, oh no, he'd never do something like that. Yeah. Unless you're Dinesh D'Souza. And by the way, fuck Dinesh D'Souza. This cocksucker is, by the way, I blocked him because I'm tired of his bullshit showing up in my feed. This cocksucker made a documentary called 2,000 Mules about election fraud. Now, let's not forget, Dinesh D'Souza he wasn't convicted. He confessed to violating federal election law.
Yep.
Pled guilty to get a lesser sentence. He was pardoned by Donald Trump. And then suddenly he's out there making a documentary about how there's these 2,000 mules with these ballots from here and there. And apparently every mule had a whole satchel of votes for Joe Biden. By the way, you can stream it. You can stream that shit box of a movie for $19.99. Fuck you, Dinesh D'Souza. I can stream a real movie for less than that.
And there's been a lot of dumbasses for streaming it.
Oh my God. If you get a chance to see Jordan Klepper.
I saw it.
The Jordan Klepper. Yeah, go just watch that. Yeah. Anyway, Trump refused to put out a video or a tweet telling people to leave. Refused. when the hang Mike Pence chant started happening, he said, well, maybe that's what should happen.
Yep.
Mark Meadows wasn't going to do anything except sit there and fuck around on his phone like a newly single dude who discovered Tinder until White House counsel ran to his office and said, hey, fucker, we got to do something. Come with me. He also was on the side of the people who wanted to blame BLM or Antifa. That wasn't our people. That was BLM. That was Antifa. All dressed up in Trump flags. Fuck you.
Yeah.
If you believe that, fuck you. I want the Easter Bunny to visit you in your sleep and shove an ostrich egg up your ass.
Good.
That's what should happen.
Yes.
So Mark Meadows in deep doo-doo because they got a lot of text messages from his phone.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Also, one of the other things they did was they put out a bunch of statements that from witnesses that they asked if there'd been any contact.
Yeah.
From Donald Trump or his people before they testified, and there were anonymous quotes from each of them. Motherfucker was involved in heavy witness tampering, which, by the way,
Illegal.
a crime.
Yes.
Another crime. Now, if you're thinking, well, big whoop, why is this a big deal? Well, let me tell you. The night before, our old pal, Donald J. Trump, 45th president of the United States of America, put out one of his statements that Jerkwaters put out on Twitter with his Save America stationery. Tomorrow, the very unselect committee led by Rhino Liz, parenthetical, who needs a better hairstylist, 2 exclamation points, close parenthetical, and her fellow radical Democrats is holding another witch hunt on TV. Whatever is on John Eastman's phone is totally fake. By the way, John Eastman, Trump's lawyer, yeah, they met him outside of a restaurant and took all of his electronics.
Yes.
Yep, all of them.
All of them. But apparently whatever's on there is totally fake, planted by Nancy Pelosi and the FBI. And Mark Meadows better not testify against me tomorrow. And if he does, it's all a fat lie. What? He better not testify. So there's a threat.
Yeah.
But if he does, everything he says is a lie.
Yeah.
He was a lousy chief of staff.
Jesus Christ.
Of always wore too much cologne. That's exactly what it says.
Yeah.
He was a lousy chief of staff of always wore too much cologne, just like Mo Brooks and Ali Alexander.
Oh, Mo, I need a pardon, Brooks.
Yeah. Instead of watching this ratings disaster, everyone should watch the movie Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That is a much better piece of fiction. Remember, Trump is way smarter.
The funny thing is, Catch Me If You Can is like a docudrama. It's like based on some guy that actually did that in the past. He couldn't even pick like it's like that actually has like basis in fact because it's based on some dude that fucking did that.
I do enjoy the last line. Remember, Trump is way smarter.
God.
Totes way smarter.
Toad's way smarter, everyone.
Oh boy.
So we have 6 Republicans who have been named who asked for pardons.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, Jim Jordan didn't ask for one. He inquired about them.
Yeah.
Because Jim Jordan's slick like that.
Allegedly.
Fuck that guy.
6 that asked for pardons allegedly. And also there might have been more. I think they said Rudy might have asked for one.
Yes, that was one of the things that she
Yeah.
confirmed in her testimony today was that Rudy Giuliani did in fact ask for a pardon.
And Michael Flynn pled the 5th.
On asking if storming the Capitol was, and they asked for a clarification. If there was, because the question was it justified? And the lawyer took a pause, cut off the Zoom, came back and said, is that question a legal question or a moral question? And she said both. And so He goes, okay, could you ask them again? So she asked moral, and he pleaded the fifth. So he won't even answer if it's moral. I understand going with the fifth on legal.
Yeah.
But by the way, he's not a lawyer.
No.
And by the way, he should not be getting a military pension.
He should not. The Defense Department should be cutting that off. Or no, the Defense Department should have cut that off when he was convicted.
Right.
In the first place.
Yeah.
That should have been ended, because if I had done that in the military, they would have court-martialed me.
No.
They would have taken away my pension.
No.
And busted me down to E1.
No.
And that's exactly what should have happened
That's
with him.
exactly what should have happened to him. The rest of this shit, I am so fucking tired of people who are trying to make points in arguments, not really understanding that we're past we can have arguments to make points place in our history.
We're way past that.
We are way fucking past that. We are, if the Democrats do not win or maintain the House or the Senate, they gotta keep at least one.
Yes.
We are fucked.
Totes fucked.
Our democracy is over. And the Supreme Court has another ruling coming down tomorrow, possibly, on whether the Congress can regulate the EPA.
Yeah, we'll get to the Supreme Court in a minute.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but that's another thing that will affect whether we actually have a system of government that's left.
Right.
So get your ass out and vote. 2022, you don't have the luxury of waiting till 2024.
No.
So
and vote locally too.
Vote locally too.
Because even if you're in some place where like, well, this is this, like I live in California, so I already know what's going to happen here. No, you don't. Not in your local races.
No, and this election for Californians is going to be really important because they'll be adding the law to the Constitution about women having the ability and freedom of choice and whatnot over their bodies. So that's going to be because it has to go through that process,
right?
To become part of our Constitution,
right? So there's a lot at stake this fall. As we're recording this, we don't know any results yet, but it's possible that Lauren Boebert will wake up tomorrow morning without
Madison Cawthorn.
She could be Madison Cawthorn.
I hope so.
It could happen. We'll see what the people of Colorado decide. Meanwhile, on Staten Island, Rudy Giuliani was campaigning with his weird son, Andrew. And here's what he said happened.
About a third of the way through, I got hit on the back as if a boulder hit me. It knocked me forward a step or two. It didn't knock me down, but it hurt tremendously. I did not know what it was. I had no idea what it was. And all of a sudden, I heard someone yell at me something I can't repeat about what I am.
It is what he is. He yelled, "Hey, scumbag!"
Yeah.
I like how Rudy said, "What I am." So he's admitted he's a scumbag.
He knows.
Curse words, dirty curse words, and then some more dirty curse words, and then a few more dirty as he retreated, ran away. And then he turned around and he said that I was a woman killer. You kill women, your party kills women.
Yeah. So that's horrific until you actually see the surveillance video of what happened, where someone walked in behind him, touched him on the shoulder blade with one hand. Now, Rudy did jump forward a little bit because he didn't know someone was going to touch him from behind. So I get that. Was he knocked forward? Absolutely not. No. There was a woman next to him who started immediately rubbing his back as if trying to buff out a scratch.
It didn't look like his hand was just placed on the guy. It looked like the way that somebody like pats you on the back when they want to get your attention a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
patted him on the back, walked by and said, "Hey, scumbag."
Yeah. Yeah. But like, you know,
and he retreated because Rudy's security people were hassling him all the way through. By the way, he was arrested. Kept for 24 hours by the NYPD because they took Rudy's statement They believed Rudy's statement, but then the videotape came.
And what did they say after the videotape?
Well, he's out of jail, and his lawyers are none too pleased with it.
Yes.
They're
because the original story said that he was slapped,
Yeah.
correct.
and I was excited about the fact that somebody slapped him.
Right. Well, he's talking about how he felt like he got shot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Or a boulder.
A boulder hit
a boulder
me?
hit you, but you only went forward a step or two. Like, get the fuck out of here.
No, he didn't go forward a step or two. He didn't barely.
He
didn't move.
He didn't move.
He took I think he took a half a step forward with 1 foot.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I want to be fair. The guy surprised him. He wasn't expected to be
Right.
touched from
Yeah,
behind.
yeah.
His left foot went forward half a step. That's what happened. You can see it.
And if you're a man, you tell the guy, go fuck himself.
right?
And then you just fucking, that's it. It's over. It's over.
By the way, you are the mayor of New York, and you are that much of a pussy.
Yeah, what a fucking snowflake.
My God.
What a little bitch.
My God. All right.
What
so
a little dickhole.
time to talk Supreme Court.
Talking about dickholes.
So Roe versus Wade was overturned last week, which means it now goes back to the states. And what could possibly go wrong when you turn things over to the states? States' rights and all that. Kareem, can you think of anything?
States' rights are always the right to be racist, and in this case is still the right to be racist because this whole ruling
Is going to disproportionately affect women of color.
no.
Go
Want a
ahead.
bunch of white babies that they can
This is a bunch of
subject.
White, this is
That's true.
This is not about black people.
All
at
the creepy people with the "I'll adopt your child."
It's about those people.
Fuck those people. There's 400 and some odd thousand kids in foster care in the United States. If you want to adopt kids, there's plenty.
Nate, they don't want those kids. They want babies. I told y'all.
Well, I didn't want babies, and I got 2 of them.
I told y'all last year about the podcast that I was listening to about
Right.
the ICWA cases.
Yeah.
They gave back. One of the couples gave back a 2-year-old.
Well, then you have that judge also that said that the whole reason they wanted to get rid of abortion in the first place is because they're losing their constituency of white people.
Yeah.
So they needed to have more white babies. And like, that was like 100% like, guy that was in charge of the Republican committee.
They- yeah.
They found a box of recordings.
The book is called The Birth Dearth. And I'm fucking tired of seeing shit on TikTok that I've been talking about for 20 years. But it's called The Birth Dearth. This shit is about not being enough white babies being born.
Right.
60% of abortions are by white women. And I want to say this to men who are commenting on the abortion issue. If your only concept of what this issue is about some young girl who was loose with her coochie, shut the fuck up. Because you have no
You have
fucking
no
idea,
fucking idea.
what the fuck you're talking about.
There's
There is a multitude of reasons.
and you know what they all are? None of your fucking
None of your
business.
fucking business.
None of your fucking business.
Exactly. So if that's all your thought is, and your thought process is, oh, they're killing babies, shut the fuck up because you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly.
And guess what? Adolf Hitler was a baby.
That's true. It's true. I've seen photos.
Yeah, but shut the fuck up about it because you don't know what you're talking about. The ramifications of this go far beyond that little simple idea that your little simple fucking brain is attached to.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, Tom, you know who Tom Fitton is? Tom Fitton, Fitton.
Name sounds familiar.
Tom Fitton is the president of Judicial Watch and a fact checker and an expert. Anywho, Tom Fitton decided he was going to weigh in, tweeting, "Water is wet and abortion kills a human being." That was after. Now, so here's where it's stupid. So Lake Superior, one of the Great Lakes, the
Yes.
biggest of the Great Lakes, tweeted, "This lake vehemently stands with women having the right to choose," which would be a fair statement considering a good portion of it is in Canada, where women still do have the right to choose. Tom Fitton decided he was going to respond to that by tweeting, "Water is wet and abortion kills a human being." To which Lake Superior replied, "Thomas, not even your first talking point is correct. Water is not wet. What water touches is wet. I'm confident I have a lot more experience in making things wet than you do." So that happened. Now, let's go to the aforementioned Lauren Boebert.
The reason we had so many overreaching regulations in our nation is because the church complied. The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk. It's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Are those Americans? Are those fucking American? What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Again, as I've said,
Saying it out loud.
said a multitude of times, these motherfuckers don't know what country you live in. You have no idea the rules upon which you live. You have no idea about the fucking history of anything about this country if this is what you're applauding. The whole fucking reason the country exists is to...
Oh, hold on. No, but that was the Church of England and people that wanted to do Protestant, worship and Protestant. That's different. It's still Christian. It was still Christian, Kareem.
The whole fucking purpose of us being here.
Well, us.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah,
yours
is
different.
It's different. But the whole purpose of this country existing is
Right.
antithetical to what she just fucking said.
Well, yeah, she's an idiot.
Yes.
She's a boob, an idiot, a simpleton, if you will.
And before we move, I want to swing back to the Supreme Court real quick.
Sure.
Or are you going to talk about?
Oh
the
no,
other
I
two?
have one more. I have one more Roe v. Wade thing.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, this is from a white nationalist named Vincent James.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's hear what he has to say. Oh, wait. I don't give a fuck.
Be happy with the victories that come about for us. You have to always keep pushing. You have to always have the mindset that, okay, this is great, but this does not go far enough. We have to move on to the next thing. Things have gotten so completely out of control as far as licentiousness is concerned.
Oh.
That we need to start to roll things back in order to begin to restore order. And yes, that might look like rolling back the rights of women over the past 100 years. That's probably going to look exactly like that to most people, especially liberals. But that is what is needed to be done. There's something next on the horizon because gay marriage is going to be going away. Contraceptives are going to be going away. Anal sex, the anal sex that you like to have, that's going to be going away as well. And many other things are going to be going away because there is a true rise of Christian nationalism in this country.
Out loud.
That's it.
Jason, he's taking away the anal sex that you enjoy.
My wife doesn't know that yet.
That is who those people are.
That is exactly who they are.
I mean, they say it at their rallies.
This is
that
it.
is exactly who they are. And the good, I'm your neighbor, I love Jesus, but I'm a good person. I just don't want babies killed.
Fine, then don't kill babies.
This is who you are aligned with.
Those are the people that want to adopt your babies.
This is who you are aligned with. Let me say that again very, very slowly. For any of my friends who think it's all just about we are saving babies. No. This is racist. This is about control. This is about rolling back the clock to when a very select group of people had control over everything.
Yep.
About 100 years. That would be before women had the right to vote, by the way. That would be right at the heart of Jim Crow.
Yep.
That is where they want to be. And if you're sitting there just saying, oh, but I'm just this, and the Democrats are the same as the Republicans, or blah, 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 blah. No, this is who you are aligned with. This white nationalist is who you are aligned with. This is who you're rolling with. And I will not let you forget that. This is who you've chosen to roll with. You're not rolling with Jesus.
Nope.
No matter how much you fucking want to say, I'm rolling with Jesus. You're not fucking rolling with Jesus.
Nope.
At all. You're rolling with the white nationalists. You're rolling with the racists. You're rolling with the misogynists. You're rolling with the people who want to control you. And if you bought into the bullshit, the utter bullshit that Democrats want to control you, are you fucking high? No, you're probably not. But, you could be, because Democrats want you to be able to get high.
Yes.
They want you to be able to have control over your body. They want you to be able to live a healthy life by having clean drinking water and clean air. And you know how we know this? Because that is what they have put forth for the past 50 plus years. And Republicans have done nothing but look at how can we pull rights away? How can we turn back the clock? How can we make this advantageous to corporations? How can we make America like it was when Leave It to Beaver was on?
Yep.
That is what they want. They're fucking racists. They're fucking assholes. And they fucking infiltrated to the top levels the Republican Party. And here's the thing, the quote unquote good Republicans, there aren't many of them, because the good Republicans are the ones, and a couple of years ago, I would have never been like, you know what? Fucking Liz Cheney is one of the good ones. But fucking Liz Cheney is one of the good ones. Adam Kinzinger is one of the good ones. There are a very few, the ones who will step up and say, this is bullshit. Lindsey Graham is not one of the good ones. Ted Cruz, not one of the good ones. Kevin McCarthy, not one of the good ones. Jim Jordan, the fucking worst. The Republican Party has rotted from the inside. They made this deal with the evangelicals. That was their fucking deal with the devil.
Yep.
And if you think otherwise, you're fucking fooling yourself. It's not about Jesus. It's not about babies. It's about turning back the clock to when America was super white and everything was fucking great.
I was just, as you're talking about this right here, and I think about the 80s and like the people that were pushing this whole thing and those pastors that were all involved with all of that. And look what happened to every single one of those fucking pastors. They all had affairs. They all had like some others, like pregnancy, some shit in the past. Their kids, all fuck ups, doing crazy shit. I mean, these are the ones that push these ideas onto that whole, to the Republican Party. Yeah. Like they didn't give a fuck. This is all, like you said, all about control.
When you started rolling with Jerry Falwell.
Yep.
When you started rolling with Jerry Falwell was the first brick in the wall.
Yes. And
because there were preachers that were part of it before. I'm forgetting his name. But
Baker?
No.
Jim Baker was never.
No. Before that. It's not Oral Roberts. It was someone else.
I know. I'm picturing the
You know who I'm talking about. You can see him.
I can see him.
I don't believe that guy was this level of asshole. I believe that guy had, quote unquote, the best intentions. Jerry Falwell was about control. Yeah. It was about control. And
Jerry Falwell was Mitch McConnell before Mitch McConnell.
And there's an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati where they have a dude who looks like Jerry Falwell, who writes a letter to the radio station saying that they need to stop playing certain songs. Yeah. Go back and find it. It's fucking powerful. That's Jerry Falwell. And the general manager of the station is a good, God-fearing Christian, and he stands up to him. Yeah. You got to stand up to these fucking bullies. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi, please stop reading poems.
Yeah.
Stop singing on the Capitol steps. Stop reading poems. Fucking stand. I get it. The House Democrats have passed a fuck ton of stuff, and it died in the Senate. So maybe we need to look at Chuck Schumer and go, is this really the dude who needs to be leading us here?
No, he's not.
Because he is not getting anything done.
No.
Anything. He cannot keep his people in line. He cannot do anything.
So,
I'm sure he's a fine fellow, but he is not getting the job done. And by the way, you look like assholes reading poems and singing on the Capitol steps. You just do. Stop it.
So I'm going to say this right here. If we win the midterms, Stacey Abrams will be the president in 2024.
I hope so. Oh my God.
Could
I
be.
hope so.
Could be.
She will be the president in 2024.
I would love to see Beto O'Rourke take the governorship of Texas.
Beto has scared the Republicans in Texas so much that they're trying to succeed. They're talking about succeeding.
Well, they talk about that all
No,
the
no,
time.
no, no,
Fuck
no.
them.
Beto has his numbers are to the point where they're really afraid. So
I do enjoy that when the Roe v. Wade decision came down, the Attorney General decided to close at noon that day and say it's a celebration.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
So the other things that the Supreme Court did in the last 2 weeks, the Supreme Court ruled that this week they ruled about the football coach being allowed to pray after the game
Correct. Yeah.
On the field.
on the field while he's still on the clock, because he's still on the clock.
Public school.
2 weeks ago they ruled that you can use public money to fund religious education. Okay, so when Brown versus Board happened, one of the things that white people did was they took their kids out of public schools and put them in private schools.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those institutions were religious institutions, and they had to pay for it. So next on the agenda is Brown versus Board of Education. And it's been
There's a bunch on their agenda.
there's a bunch on the agenda, but
Man, Clarence Thomas is it's like he gets hard thinking about taking away rights from people.
yeah, but they have greased they've greased the kids because now they can take they've just told you that you can take public money and pay for religious education.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there for you to see. I'm telling you, like everything else I've told you, it's coming. Get fucking ready.
And
Figure out what you want to do about it.
And if you don't vote in
You
November,
don't vote in November.
this
This is fucking what's going to happen.
yeah.
I told people when Hillary Clinton ran, they was like, "Why are you voting for Hillary?" Like, because I'm not voting for Hillary. I'm voting for the fucking Supreme Court. What she got to do with the Supreme Court? She ain't got something to do with the court. It's like, motherfucker, if you don't understand what goes on, what it's going to do to the court, you shouldn't fucking be talking to me.
Well, not only that, even if you dislike Hillary, and I'm not a big Hillary Clinton fan, the other option was Donald Trump,
Right.
and we've learned what he is.
We
knew what
he
is.
was.
Yeah,
I don't think even his harshest critic really understood what a complete and utter piece of shit he was until he got that power.
I told y'all at the time, I said, what the Republican Party thinks is they think that they can use him and then that they'll be able to pull that back in. And I was like, they're not going to be able to rein that monster back in once it gets out the gate.
Nope.
And that's what the fuck happened.
And now they have to commit to the devil.
Then they have to commit to the devil. What you should have, and I'm going to say this for people in our range, what you should have known, given you the clue about how far the Republican Party was willing to go, was during the Bush administration, the Bush administration. That was your clue as to how far these motherfuckers would go. And white people still didn't think that white people would do the shit that they did. And I don't know what the blind spot is with y'all people.
Look, George Bush paints horrible photos in the bathtub.
Yes.
He's lovable. Come on, man.
I do not know what the blind spot is, but y'all people. But you need to fix that shit.
It's true. It's true.
Well, we're suckers. Like there's a percentage of us that are suckers for hearing what we want to hear. That confirms about
Confirmation bias. Yeah.
Nancy and what you're talking about, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are still guilty of it with everything that's going on, still not understanding what the fuck we're really facing.
Right.
And they're afraid to fight when actually what people want them to do is fight.
Some of them are not.
Some of them are not. And
Adam Schiff,
yeah.
Eric Swalwell, there are AOC.
Yes.
There is a group of them, and most of them are younger.
Yes. And I understand with the dumb shit that Nancy does, like the singing and that shit. Nancy is a brilliant tactician.
Mm-hmm.
She is a brilliant tactician.
And she keeps her caucus in line.
Keeps her caucus in line. Stop doing the other shit, Nancy, and let your people fight where they need to fight.
Right.
So that the people, not because, so that the people understand that you're really on their side. What the Democrats lose is the translation part. They never get the message across that they're actually fighting for the people.
Mm-hmm. It's a messaging issue.
It's a messaging issue, and they're handicapped by the fact that they are different people.
Well, the other thing about Democrats is Democrats tend to come at things from a much more thought-based approach as opposed to a gut-based approach on a lot of things. And so there's this idea that if I could just explain to you why this is a bad idea, you would see why it's a bad idea. That does not work when you're talking about this level of zealotry over stuff. You have to hit people over the head. You have to yell, look, you are rolling with the white nationalists. That is your ally. That is who you are talking like, espousing the same principles as. That's who you're backing. So guess what? That is who you are. You are a white nationalist. Yes. You may not think you are. You may not want to call yourself a white nationalist. No, I'm not. You are. You also do not have a good sense of humor, and you're not a people person.
Yes. Because
if you've told me that you are not.
And there was a author that I saw last night, and he said, what you said was what you just said, but what he said was, remember they put "don't smoke" on the side of the cigarette cartons 30 years ago now. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers are still smoking.
Yep. You know how they stop people from smoking? They tax the fuck out of it, so it's $10 a pack.
Yep.
And that didn't stop everybody.
Nope.
In other countries, they put diseased lungs on them.
Yeah.
Like, here, motherfucker, this is what you're doing.
Buy a pack of cigarettes in the UK, in London, and see what that packet like.
Pack of fags.
Yeah, you can't even see Marlboro on it. Like it has, like you said, the pictures. It has all the other. I guess it is basically it looks like a box of death.
Yep, because it is.
Real quick, my uncle Brian, who passed away 10 years ago, one of the things he used to say was, when you're fighting for something, if you look and see, who's fighting with you, and if the people that are fighting with you are the KKK or white nationalists, then you're probably on the wrong fucking side.
Yeah.
And you need to rethink what your situation is. That was something my uncle espoused for as long as I knew him, is that idea of that's how you know you're in the wrong fucking group.
Facts. All right, let's talk sports real quick.
I'm going to take a nap.
The Angels and Mariners had a brawl on Sunday.
Yes. Okay. No, I'm back in.
They did. I encourage you to go and watch it, Jason.
Every time we ever went to a game, a big fight broke out. Remember?
The Padres game.
Twice.
It's the first time I'd ever been to a brawl in person. So this started with people getting hit, and it went over the course of the thing. Saturday night, they threw at Mike Trout's head. Nothing happened then. Mike Trout did not charge the mound. Didn't act like a crybaby about it. Sunday, the Angels starter threw one about 2 feet behind the head of the Mariners rookie, and nothing really happened then. The benches were warned. Okay, everybody was like, the next inning, the Angels pitcher hit Jesse Winker, hit him in the ass cheek.
Yep.
And Jesse lost his his shit. He decided he was going to go over, and he was going to go talk shit to the Angels bench. He was going to go right over there. He was greeted by Anthony Rendon, who is on injured reserve for the rest of the year. Anthony Rendon, 10 days ago, had surgery on his right wrist. His right hand is in a cast. Anthony Rendon was the first man out of the dugout. First. And he put his left hand in Jesse Winker's face and said, "Get your shit out of here. I will fight anyone who has a bad word to say about Anthony Rendon for the rest of my life. I don't give a shit if we're paying him $35 million a year and he can't stay healthy. Motherfucker was the first one out of the dugout, ready to fight those assholes." And Jesse Winker, by the way, he apologized for this is the only thing he apologized for. When he was walking off the field after a whole bunch of hubbubbery, he decided it was a good idea to yell "fuck all of you" at the fans behind the Mariners dugout, and then with both hands flip off the crowd, which was filled with women and children.
Yay.
And Mariners Twitter, by the way, what a bunch of fucking pikers. Mariners Twitter is, Jesus Christ. It's all a bunch of newly created accounts of people who live in Seattle and were like, "I should create a Twitter account." Anyway, he apologized, but only for flipping off the fans because they paid good money to come out and see a game and they didn't deserve that.
No, they didn't. You fucking dick. Doesn't take, like, you still fucking did it.
So
bitch.
Angels manager got 10 games. Winker got 7. Several people got multiple game suspension. So that's the end of that. I just wanted to talk about that because Anthony Rendon is the fucking man.
And the Sacramento Kings drafted Keegan Murray.
That is the next thing. I want to know, Kareem, when did you go on the pipe?
I'm not on the pipe.
You are on the pipe.
I am not on the
Kareem
pipe.
J. Daniels has been all over Twitter saying that Keegan Murray is Tim Duncan.
That's not what I said.
That is exactly what you said. He is Tim Duncan. Is the tweet?
So, the
Even
tweet,
Jason knows that's craziness.
No, the
I plead the fifth.
The not craziness of it is not that he's Tim Duncan, the player. When Tim Duncan came out, he came out with they said the same kind of bullshit about him. Shaq still made fun of him being the big fundamental while he was busting his ass playing fundamentally sound basketball.
Okay.
Keegan Murray plays fundamentally sound basketball.
Well, here's the thing. The Kings, everybody in the Kings front office mutually agreed that he was the best choice at number 4.
Right. And so my point was I'd rather have Tim Duncan than potential because the player that was taken after him, everybody's like he should have been picked, but they weren't saying that he was a better player right now.
Right.
They were talking about his potential. He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
But he hasn't proven that he's a great basketball
He's got a great
player.
reel of dunks.
Yeah, he has a great reel of dunks. he has a jump shot that comes and goes, and he doesn't play defense to be as good an athlete as he is.
I just wanted to clarify that because he did in fact write on Twitter.
Yes, I said
he is Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Without all of the context, it sounds like Kareem was on the pipe.
Yeah. No, he's Tim Duncan.
It's a fair statement.
He shoots like 40-something% from the 3. He has, like I said, it's not a flashy game. It's a Tim Duncan game. It is a straight no chaser. It's just not gonna look like De'Aaron Fox going up the flush.
We already have De'Aaron Fox.
I mean, but it doesn't
Don't need another one.
Yeah, right. It doesn't look flashy. It's all textbook. It has a textbook game, and the Kings need that.
Okay, one more question about the Kings. This has been all over Kings Twitter and in other places as well. Will the Kings get Kevin Durant, or are all the other Kings fans on the pipe?
All the other Kings fans. Oh, let me throw this out there since you brought up Kevin Durant. real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kyrie Irving opted back in his contract with the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, he did?
Yes,
Oh.
because nobody else wanted him.
Well, that's true.
So he opted back into his contract because nobody else wanted him. Nobody else wanted him when him and Kevin Durant were in free agency. Everybody was willing to take him with Kevin Durant.
Right.
So that's where this was. But this fool went on Twitter today and threatened Stephen A. Smith with his daddy and his uncles. Motherfucker, you 30 years old. How the fuck are you going to talk about you sending your daddy to beat somebody up? You want to be a fucking...
Wait, what?
Yes.
Who is?
Yes, that's what he did. He's like, he fucking tweeted talking about Stephen A. Smith. You should have this conversation. Like I'm not your age, so I don't hang around with a lot of 50-year-olds. But maybe you should have this conversation with my dad and my uncles, and they can understand. Like, no, motherfucker, you're a grown man. You're not an 18-year-old kid. You're a 30-year-old. You're about to be a 30-year-old fucking man. If you want to bow up with somebody, take your punk ass up to Stephen A. and have a conversation. But don't try to threaten somebody and send your fucking dad to fight somebody for you at your fucking age.
When my dad gets home, he's gonna totally beat your ass.
You know what's so funny about that shit? Like that's.
And
by the way, Kyrie is a flat earther.
Yes.
Just FYI.
This might be the fucking soft look, and might be the fucking soft. I am so fucking tired of this generation. I am tired of. I'm glad we're into therapy, and I'm glad that you're dealing with your issues.
Sure.
But fuck, deal with your shit. Don't say, "Oh, my parents gave me childhood." No, your parents raised you the best fucking way that they knew how under those circumstances. And if your therapy is not teaching you to have empathy for them, then your fucking therapist isn't doing their job, and all you're doing is being a little whiny ass bitch about where you are. And half of the time, the motherfuckers look, you can afford fucking therapy, which tells me that you have a good fucking job and you have shit going for you where you can actually afford to go to therapy, which means your parents did a pretty decent ass job raising your dumb ass.
This has been Tough Love with Kareem J. Daniels.
Yes. This means your parents have done the...
I mean, that's listen, there could be an argument that like I don't know with the way I was raised, what I went through growing up and shit like that I don't need to have empathy for my parents, but I mean, like there's a chance that I could have gone through life and not had any empathy for them. But one of the things that I got by going through therapy and AA is learning that people do the fucking best they can, and you have to give some fucking grace and have some empathy for people, even if they're fucking idiots, even if they're fucking assholes, even if they're horrible parents. You have to give them some type of... What I was thinking when you were talking about this, me not knowing anything about the situation, I wasn't thinking of it like as a little bitch. I was thinking of him as he's... Even though he's almost 30, he still looks at himself as being like a 50-year-old being out of his league because he's young, that he would beat him up too bad. Because, like, to me, that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, yeah, you talk to my dad because I don't want to beat up an old man. But if you're 30, sorry, man, a 50-year-old can still whip your fucking ass.
Yeah.
A 50-year-old can still whip your fucking ass.
By the way, if your first thought is I'm going to get into a physical confrontation with a 50-year-old and you're 30, and you're still thinking like I'm gonna go fight him. No. Unless you're Anthony Rendon and somebody steps to you and then you put your hand right in his face.
And the crazy thing was what Stephen A. Smith said about him really wasn't Stephen A. Smith says, now you have to fucking go to work.
I guarantee I've said worse things about Kyrie Irving. He's gonna send his dad to talk to me. I'm 50.
He said now,
Kyrie, send your dad out. I'm gonna have a conversation with him. I'm gonna ask him what the fuck he did to make you such a sorry excuse.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn this shit around.
Yeah, he said now, he's like, because Stephen A. Smith said, because you think of people who have to go to work, you think of us as peons. and now you have to go to work. So now you're a peon just like the rest of us.
Yeah, I can see where that would sting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send my dad to go talk to you. Like, no, motherfucker, be a man. You're a fucking man now. You're a past. Your brain is fully developed at 28 years old.
That's unfortunate.
You are a fucking man now.
And
so
this is where we are with him.
yeah, if you have something to say, go fucking confront him your damn self. Don't send your pappy to do it. Now, look, he wasn't gonna just send his dad. He was gonna send his dad and his uncles.
Well, sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because Stephen A. Smith is Tiny Lister. Fuck off.
Man, go sit your dumb ass down somewhere.
All right, because I promised this, I'll get into it. A woman found naked from the waist down told Pennsylvania police that snakes had eaten her pants. It's according to,
Yeah, some snakes ate her pants.
that is
all right.
according to a court filing. Responding last Thursday afternoon to multiple 911 calls about a half-dressed woman walking in the middle of the road about 25 miles from Philadelphia, cops found Gloria Harple, who's 35, naked from the waist down, and she was rambling. Harple, who police suspected of narcotics use, initially said she had put her pants in a storm drain before contending that snakes had eaten them. She was sweating profusely, making nonsensical outbursts, and arrested for indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness. She was booked into the county jail on misdemeanor counts. The probable cause affidavit does not provide further description of what the purported trouser snakes looked like.
I thought it was a bofa snake. Both of these nuts.
Got two quick things before we go.
That's what she said.
This is from where's it from? It's from Florida. There we go. Kareem, your people need to stop with the names for the children until they know what the children are going to be, because a man named LeGenius.
That was what they were hoping he was going to live up to.
Yeah, LeGenius Williams he's 22. He's a Floridian. He's already served prison time for attempted murder and robbery, back behind bars on an assortment of felony gun and drug charges following his arrest. Police allege that Williams struck his girlfriend in the face with a handgun and then fled the St. Petersburg crime scene in a Chevy driven by another man. No word if that was Kyrie Irving's dad. Cops performed a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle, then arrested Williams and the driver. A search of the car uncovered a pair of loaded firearms as well as cocaine and fentanyl.
No.
He was booked in the county jail for aggravated domestic battery, drug trafficking, narcotics possession, and weapons offenses, being held in lieu of $77,000 bond. When he was 13, he was arrested for shooting a 15-year-old boy. He was subsequently sentenced to 8 years in prison for attempted murder, as well as unrelated robbery charges. 5 months after his release from state prison in late 2020, he was arrested for cocaine possession, driving without a license, and illegally possessing a handgun. He got out last February on $12,000 bond. His 2021 case is pending, and the judge revoked his bond in light of his latest arrest. And they should revoke his name because he is not LeGenius.
Anytime they put Lay or D in front of it, it makes it the opposite.
I will say, though, I mean, him shooting somebody at 13 and then getting 8 years for it. I mean, like, there's no he had no chance. It's shitty.
Neither did the 15-year-old he shot, Jason.
I can't imagine the situation that a 13-year-old would be in where he was going to be able to shoot somebody in the first place.
It's probably gang-related.
He lives in Liberty City.
Well, and all I'm saying is, like, that's it's tough for me to think of a 13-year-old as an adult that's doing something. I mean, I don't know.
He's not. He's so the other thing with all of this shit is, if you really gave a fuck about kids, then 13-year-olds wouldn't be shooting 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Because you would stop taking away the funding for the programs that actually keep them from being out in the streets and doing this shit.
Yep.
No, I guess that's. I'm saying this is wow. The genius is definitely at fault for the shit that's happened in his life. At the same time, he wasn't put in a situation where he was going to. He was put in a difficult
He
He
wasn't
situation.
put in a situation where he was going to be able to live up to the name.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Not at all.
It's shitty.
Let's leave the hustle and bustle for small town news.
This is a thick episode.
Yeah, thick like my dick.
By the way, there's
They call me tuna can, baby.
no Jason for the next 2 weeks, so I hope you enjoyed it. Jason going on vacation. This from my hometown area.
Oh.
Headline, maybe you can do this, Jason.
Yeah, let's see. When is it?
It is July 9th.
Okay.
July 9th. All invited to birthday party for rare donkey living in Brownington.
Yeah, I need to go. Is this like a little,
It is a rare Baudin de Poitou donkey named Hamilton living in Brownington, Vermont, about to celebrate his first birthday, and the public is invited to stop by and say hello. Hamilton was born and lives at Arnold's Rescue Center at 2351 Hinman Settler Road, where his shaggy dreadlocked coat, characteristic of the breed, is perfectly suited to the northern Vermont climate. His birthday celebration will take place on Saturday, July 9th. The party starts at 3 and runs till 5 because everybody knows that a little donkey is only good for a 2-hour party. Hamilton will have special cake. Strawberry shortcake for humans will be served as part of the Strawberry Festival. There you go.
All right.
There will be face painting for children. Pin the tail on the donkey, not the real one. I'm guessing it doesn't say that. And a drawing for a stuffed donkey toy. There is no admission charge, but organizers say donations are welcome. Hamilton's birth is an encouraging sign for the critically endangered species, with his birth a year ago adding one more to about 500 Poitou donkeys in the world. In 1977, there were just 40 in existence. Hamilton's mother, Quiche, lives at the center as well, and his father, Jolie Couret, contributed his genetic material some 25 years ago.
Wow.
They jerked off that donkey a long time ago. Hamilton was conceived in July of 2020 at the University of Illinois Veterinary Hospital. He's one of a dozen Baudin de Poitou donkeys at Arnold's Rescue Center, which is also home to about 20 other farm animals surrendered by owners who could not care for them and animals involved in legal intervention. By the way, Hamilton's favorite pastime, in case you were wondering, is playing with large rubber exercise balls, pushing and throwing them around his field. Even when he accidentally deflates them, he carries them as he meanders around.
Oh, some of those Bofa balls.
Those who would like to bring Hamilton a gift can purchase gift cards at Tractor Supply, Agway, or Chewy to help Arnold's Rescue provide him with feed and supplies as he grows.
I hope his celebration goes better than little Sebastian's celebration from Parks and Rec. Little Sebastian died, everyone. That's what happened.
It's sad, right? Way to leave on a high note.
Little Sebastian. Oh, come on. It's one of the all-time greatest episodes of Parks and Rec.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying a way to bring us down at the end.
All right. Well, I'll bring you down to my drink.
Jason, safe travels.
Thank you.
Where you going?
Upstate New York.
He could in fact go to Brownington to this celebration.
Going to Whiteville.
If he wanted
Yeah,
to.
seriously.
You know where he's going to? Elise Stefanik's district.
Tell Elise we said hi.
Oh,
You know what? We'll go protest in front of her house.
That's a good idea.
she don't live anywhere near there.
Oh, we'll find it.
You're going to have to drive like 6 hours to find it.
Oh, is it that large of an area that she
Yes.
Because it's so rural.
She represents a lot of fucking rocks and trees.
Nice.
Rocks, trees, and old folks.
Nice.
You would actually have a shorter drive going to see Hamilton
Really?
on his birthday. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's
Just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Hamilton.
That's going to do it for us in our super thick episode. Thank you for joining us in 3D, and we will see you all
Bye,
next
Kevin.
time. Bye, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
And bye, Bonds.